Hi everyone, Zeke Samples with Liberty Home Mortgage. I'm here with my longtime friend, Stephen Cooley with Stephen Cooley Real Estate. Stephen and I have known each other probably 20 plus years.
Absolutely.
And he's had his brokerage over 2 decades. I asked him for the opportunity to speak on some of the bullet points, the topics, and not only this hot market that we have, but also the market as it's evolving. Him being one of the top 10 agents in the entire United States, I thought of nobody else better than to speak with you.
Well, thanks so much, Zeke. I'm honored to be here. We met 20 plus years ago at the gym, still going to the gym and loving that. Yes, we've done a lot of real estate here in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina market, including Upstate South Carolina, that Rock Hill, Fort Mill area, if you're familiar with the greater Charlotte market. Sold about 14,000 homes.
Yeah.
We were ranked in the top 10 last year in the country for real estate groups. We have 16,000 members of our current MLS, and we're number 1. And we do that really in a small, compact team. There's 30 agents and about 15 admin. We'll do about 1,500 units this year, 2022.
Yeah, that's staggering numbers. And I know a lot of the realtors I work with look up to big names such as yourself, and they came with a lot of different questions they wanted me to ask you.
Happy to answer them.
Right off the top, what was the best decision you made when building your business, and what was your worst mistake?
Yeah, those would both be people related. Getting in business with the right people was the best decision I ever made. And there's people on my team that have been with me, which is a long time in real estate at one company, 10, 15, 16 years, a lot of them. There'd be more if we were bigger back then. Certainly have a lot of people on my team that's been with me 5 and 6 years. So hiring the right people would be the best decision I ever made. And of course, over that period of 33 years in building a real estate business, getting in business with the wrong people was probably the biggest mistake I've made. And that might be whether it be agents on my team or, our vendor partners, whether it was a lender or anybody that we give business to. Finding the right people to be in business with will determine your success.
Well, this is a business where you have to have streamlined production. It has to be basically a production line where your agents close the transaction, then you turn to the lender, your inspectors, insurance. So certainly.
And what I'm better at today than I was 20 and 30 years ago is just identifying those people early on and getting in business with them or not getting in business with them.
Would you say if you were to start over as a brand new agent today, that's how you would do it?
If I started over as a brand new agent today, I would get on a team. I would interview the top 3 to 5 teams in the town, and I would get on it. Teams generate business, they generate leads, and so that's what I would do. And that would be very important, is finding the right group to jump into. I would not recreate the wheel now that it's created. I started the first team in South Carolina, and I was the first agent to ever hire an agent in the entire state. And so now you've got that opportunity to jump in a well-organized machine. So more important than ever to ask the right questions when you meet people and you're thinking about getting in business with them.
What marketing advice would you give to an agent in today's market?
I think there's 2 types of marketing an agent needs to do. There's brand marketing, which is building your name. And then there's what we're hired to do for sellers, and that's marketing the property. 2022, it doesn't take much marketing to sell a home. So it does take a lot more marketing to stand out. Again, there's 16,000 people in my area that have a real estate license with a magical lockbox key.
Yep.
And so really standing out from those. This is my advice to agents. Do the free stuff first. I have 85 billboards around Charlotte, so I get a lot of those billboard calls. Stephen, should I buy a billboard? And I said, well, are you doing the free things, the things that cost no money? Are you really focusing on and building your social media and building followers? And then if you're building followers, are you pumping good content to them? Sometimes, Zeke, I'll see good content, but they only have 2 views. And sometimes I'll just see horrific content, but it's getting a lot of views. And so mastering the free stuff first. Emails are free, newsletters are free, social media is free. And even if you boost and advertise on social media, it's peanuts compared to big marketing.
Now, when you get to a next level, let's say that agent gets to a production of $10 or $15 million a year, now they're limited on their time. Would that be something that an assistant would take over for them?
Absolutely. I think leverage would be, and again, getting in business with the right people, leveraging, which is what that's called, is the most important thing. I always compare a great realtor to other great professions, like a great doctor. I've had a great doctor, and he's been my doctor for 28 years. If I called down to his office and he answered the phone, and he booked the appointment, and he weighed me in when I got there, he would not be the right doctor. So I think you need to initially leverage the inexpensive things, the file, the inputting of the file, the signage, the photos, the measuring of the home, the things that, and even in your personal life, run into the dry cleaners, hire that first person to really be your personal business assistant, and it will put you in the money-making stuff more. And with the labor shortage, it's more like 15 or 20 bucks an hour nowadays, but let someone else do the $20 an hour stuff so you can do the $2,000 an hour stuff. And that's how I built it. I was an agent. I got into business at 21. At 22, I had an assistant and been building it ever since then.
Wow. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk contracts and maybe hands-on experience. What was your toughest deal? And in addition to that, what do you feel about South Carolina adding the due diligence?
Yeah, excellent. Well, if you look at a map, Charlotte is a border city, and half the people who work in Charlotte, North Carolina live in South Carolina. And so North Carolina has been a due diligence state for years. And so we're writing a contract one day in North Carolina and the next day in South Carolina, and sometimes it's the same person because they're making offers on multiple homes. I'm really excited about the due diligence. I like it. I think it simplifies the contract. The South Carolina contract, you pick between repair request, as is, or due diligence. So I'm really excited about moving into that. I'm also excited because we already do that half the time in the other state. Hardest deal I've ever done is back to the people story. It was just a hard seller that was very difficult. I don't view real estate as difficult. A property that's hard to sell versus easy to sell, just kind of like my job. And sometimes you like to climb a mountain, and I see that with these hard properties to sell, or a buyer that's got really unique needs. I think that's fun. It's more difficult when you deal with difficult people. And so I've had a few sellers that would just be off the chart on difficult. When those close, I celebrate.
Yes. Just like we'd celebrate too if that person that has a lot of unique needs happens to find it, you're the one to make that experience happen, and you know that there's no other property that has those attributes.
Yeah, and I found with difficult people, not all of them, but difficult people are probably difficult in every part of their lives. And if they see that you'll stick with them, sometimes they soften because they're used to people giving up on them. And so I see that as a fun challenge too. There's some things I won't tolerate, especially if they call in and they abuse my admin and staff. We'll let them go. Always have a big enough business that you can let some business go. Right?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Okay, and last question for the day. When do you see inventory going back to normal? Because, of course, you don't have that crystal ball.
Yeah, and that's a question every single person asks you and me all day long, right? I don't see it going back to normal anytime soon. When Wall Street got into buying single-family residential property and turning those into rentals, they became a competitor to the typical home buyer, and they're still in it at full force. And so right now, properties, favorable properties are getting 30 to 50 offers on them, Zeke. And what's important for that consumer, as you know, is to be super focused on the buying process, have the right agent and the right lender,
right,
so you can compete against these cash offers. And a good, strong loan approval from a good lender is as good as cash. And that is so important for them to get in and compete in these cash, this cash arena. These corporate buyers will pay cash. They'll pay over full price. They'll buy with no inspections, with big money down. And so what you've got to go in as a buyer is know that and come in prepared and have an agent that will represent you up against those other bids. And there are a lot of sellers out there that do not want to sell to corporate America. They don't want to do it to their neighbors, and they don't have to. And so we currently have 74 buyers pending where we won on multiple bids. It's our relationship with our lender is the number one thing that will get that push through, competing against those cash deals.
Yes, and communication with the lender as well. A lot of times I go that extra mile when I have VA or FHA, you know, your government loan programs.
Right.
Those people are qualified, but a lot of times they're getting beaten by those conventional offers. But when I pre-approve, you know, of course, I see assets, I see income. So if they have the down payment to be able to go conventional, let them do their VA, because of course they want to benefit off the 100% financing.
Right.
But if they've got the assets to be able to go conventional, I'll make sure the buyer's agent knows that. So
that they have options, and it's just not VA. And we're helping a lot of VA people too, and that is the reason is a great lender like you that's backing that with a conventional backup plan, and also communicating on the buyer's behalf with that listing agent that these people are good to go. So many lenders at these toll-free numbers.
Yes.
You're getting a rep in another country answering the phone, and there's no way to get to the person that the consumer actually spoke with. They're going to pull up the file and they're going to tell you from another country, yeah, these people look good, if you can get that out of them. Those lenders are not helping people win, are they, Zeke?
No, and they're also not available past 5 p.m.
Exactly. That's the number one way to win. It's going to be a booming market, a great market. If you own a home, you're going to really enjoy a lot of appreciation. If you're a buyer, get in, because appreciation is going to continue. There's no appreciation when you rent.
No, there's not.
Well, for the landlord.
And that's a good point. You know, the cost of waiting is something I hear all the time. When people get beat 7 or 8 times, they're frustrated. They want to quit. But, you know,
don't quit.
That rent is going to go up just like the home price will. And then you might price yourself out of the market, because what you were pre-approved for, let's say it was a $400,000 house, a year from now, with the interest rates slowly rising, with the appreciation slowly rising, now you can only qualify for a $300,000 house. So you bumped yourself out of that market and into a lower priced home. So
yeah, and if you jump in now, and if home prices do what they're predicted, you sell later, not only will you have made a lot of money, it's tax-free money if it's your primary residence. Tax-free money is hard to get.
Yes.
And it's really only on the equity of selling a home. And so it's the number one wealth builder in America is your primary residence. And it's most of people's total net worth is their home and the equity in their home.
Yeah.
And you're not going to benefit from that unless you jump in. And so that's the big takeaway if you're the public, or if you're an agent representing the public. People need to buy.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Zeke.
I hope it's been beneficial for everybody. Stephen's an amazing resource, and please reach out to him or myself anytime for your real estate needs or your lending needs.
Absolutely.